Good evening. Welcome to Neighbors Helping Neighbors podcast. I'm Mike Lewis. This is a function of the Robertson County Democratic Party, and we welcome you to our session this evening. This evening, I have the pleasure of interviewing a friend of mine who's also an excellent bird watcher, beekeeper, gardener, and friend, Mr. Tony Lance. Tony Lance is the current chairman of the Robertson County Democratic Party. And we thought it appropriate to ask Tony to join us and kind of give us a little bit of history about his experience with the party since he's been chairman over the last 2 years, how the party has been sort of, quote, reinvented, uh, and where we've come from and where we're going. So, Tony, thanks for coming this
Mike,
afternoon.
thanks for having me here. It's really a pleasure. So where shall we start? Do you want to start with kind of a history of where the party has gone since the last couple of years?
Sure. Tony is a Robertson County native, graduate of Springfield High School at
1978.
the University of Tennessee. So
Yes.
he's well known to many of you. Why don't you take it from there, Tony? Yeah, how about a history of the party from?
Sure. I took over the party in March of 2023. Unfortunately, at that time, the party had kind of gone a little bit kind of fallen apart a little bit. It wasn't very active. So when I took over, there was a lot of rebuilding that had to be done. And that essentially consumed my first year and most of my second year, just getting the basics in place. I mean, I'm talking about having regular meetings, having a meeting space, filling out an executive committee, all this stuff, bank accounts, post office boxes, all the basic stuff had to be done in those first couple of years because they were not in place when I took over. So I look back and look at those first 2 years as kind of an essential rebuilding period. And now that we're in my second term, we had a great reorganization in April and brought aboard an incredible executive committee. We have some really outstanding people who are serving on the executive committee now. And with that, we have so much more capacity than we had in the first 2 years. I mean, let's face it, this is a volunteer organization. I have a full-time job. I can devote maybe 10 to 15 hours a week, but we now have people who, for them, this is almost a full-time job. So our capacity in the last 6 months has just gone through the roof.
Well, I think that's true too, and people of varied interests that have become involved with a lot of different projects,
Yeah,
and a lot
absolutely.
of different avenues of interest. So maybe we should talk a little bit about some of those interest and committees and where this is leading us.
Well, sure. We had a couple of committees in place during the first 2 years, chiefly our communications committee and our engagement committee. The communications committee was doing pretty darn well the first couple of years. That was with Caroline Bowman Snyder. And she's brought on a couple of other people who help with social media. So that now is a very robust effort. We have lots of social media content, and Caroline is a graphic designer by trade, so she's got some great stuff that goes out. So that particular committee has jumped forward, but the engagement committee started out with a little bit of a sputter, and with our recent reorganization, Tamara Bavendam came on board, and she very readily made it known to me that she wanted to be engaged as much as she could. She was willing to help out, and she has taken our outreach and engagement committee and just knocked it out of the park. I mean, we are now participating in probably every single event that's available to us.
Yes.
We're doing canvassing like never before. So that to me is one of the best things that's happened in the last 6 months.
I would think so too. Yes, we got some people that are very involved and experienced at organizing and leading. So that's been a great help to the whole party. But it's also great that we've had so much participation from the local people that have joined.
Yeah.
And we're seeing a great increase in our young people that have.
Well, I was going to say, I was hoping you would mention that, because we've got some really fired up young people who are very talented. in various ways. I mean, I think about Andrew, who's instrumental in this very podcast.
Hmm.
I think about Hunter, who's doing some great things with our vote builder access. Yeah, having the young people come aboard, that's going to allow us to do even better things. And I'm also happy to report that as of yesterday, we now have a finance committee chairperson.
Oh boy.
Yeah, yeah, that's something I've been pushing for really since the beginning, and I guess it's one of those positions that um, people have been reluctant to take. I don't know
Mhm.
why finance and money makes people a little leery, but that's been the case. And finally, we've found a taker in Bethany Justice, and she has some nonprofit experience. She has some fundraising experience. So I'm really
Great.
hopeful that she's going to be able to take that position and do some good things. In fact, that for me is one of the focuses for the next year is getting things like a steady stream of monthly donors, really
Mhm.
taking that and increasing that, doing some fundraising events. We'll see where that goes, but
Yeah.
I'm really hopeful and excited
Well,
about
I
that.
think that's an interesting thing that you brought up about fundraising
Mm.
and revenue building because we don't have any corporate money
We
that
have
flows into the party.
we have
You know,
zero corporate money, and
yeah,
we exist on a shoestring budget.
absolutely.
Yeah, and so having money come in regularly, that's going to allow us to do some good things, I think.
Well, I think so too.
Uh,
And when we talk about the drivers of the recent interest in rebuilding our party, what do you think some of those events have been that's motivating people now to become?
Well, yeah, the elephant in the room is what's going on at the federal level. I mean, people are definitely motivated by what's going on in Washington. And that's energized a lot of people. People who might not otherwise have gotten into
Step
local
forward. I
politics are
agree.
now stepping forward, and that has to be if we're going to make a change. People are going to have to get out of their comfort zones and start to give time at
Participate.
this. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I think that's true as well.
Mhm.
And that leads us to our upcoming congressional election,
Yes.
special election on December the 2nd for
Yeah.
our 7th congressional district.
Yes, we now
Uh,
have a candidate with Afton Bain. She won the Democratic primary, so we
mhm.
have somebody to now support.
And so this should be an interesting contest between uh, Afton
Mhm.
and the Republican opponent, and we're hoping for good things. So you may find us knocking on your doors and handing out information about the upcoming
Yeah, I
election
mean,
to
and there are
you.
a lot of people out there who are very hopeful that we can flip this seat from red to blue. I mean, the numbers from the primary are very promising.
Hmm.
I don't have the exact numbers in my head, but on a percentage basis, I think we improved our performance relative to the
Yeah.
Republican opponent by something like 15%.
Hmm.
So we're now within striking distance of turning that
Hmm.
seat blue. So we'll see where it goes.
Well, it's going to require everybody's vote and everybody's participation.
Yes, yes, indeed.
Uh, any other ideas that you've had going forward that we need to keep focused on?
Well, from my perspective, one of the things that I'm focused on is I'm not going to be. This is my last term. I'm not going to be doing this again. I've done what I need to do. So my focus is going to be largely on um, continuing to build an organization that will exist after me, succession planning, if you will. So I'm kind of hopeful now that we have some good people coming up the ranks that are going to be able to
Mhm.
fill all the positions as officers. And when I'm gone, I'm sure we'll have somebody who's very capable taking my role. But that is a primary focus for me going
And
forward
spreading
the
the
next year and a half.
enthusiasm.
Yeah.
And I would also like to mention some of our interest groups and
Hmm.
focus groups that we have
Yeah.
going ahead from the Rural Caucus
Yes.
to our African American subcommittee.
Yes.
Another one of those committees is our outreach committee, of which this is a function with the
Yes.
Neighbors Helping Neighbors podcast to try to reach more people.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you mind if I jump in on the neighbors helping neighbors thing? Because
That would be interesting.
I'm actually especially proud of the neighbors helping neighbors tagline. After our April reorganization meeting, we had those of us who were then on the executive committee had a little bit of a half day retreat. And we were talking about something that had, I don't want to say trouble, but something that I'd kind of thought about for 2 years. And that is what can, what effect can a Democratic Party have in a very red county in a very red state? According to our bylaws and according to what the Tennessee party says, the Tennessee Democratic Party says, our goal is to elect people. Well, at the county level, it's kind of hard to do when
Mm,
it's a 70% red county. So I kind of struggle with that. What can we do? Who are we given those constraints? And we were talking about that in this retreat, and Hunter Doyle said, "Well, I see us as we are neighbors helping neighbors." And as soon as he said that, those words kind of struck me, and I was like, "Wow, those three words encapsulate who we are." It
where we
tells
need to
us,
go.
yeah, it tells how we see ourselves, neighbors. It tells how we relate to the other people, we help them. And it tells how we see those people, we see them as neighbors, not as others, not as enemies, not as somebody to be scared of. It's perfect. So that's how that came about. And I'm really, really proud that, Hunter uttered those words and we all had the wherewithal to kind of take that and run with it and make it what it is.
Kind of a eureka moment.
It was indeed a eureka
Yeah.
moment. Yeah.
So we're proud to have the podcast going, and we invite you to stay tuned for more information that we have to talk about. Uh, just for upcoming information, we want to be sure that people know about the upcoming No Kings 2.0 protest coming up this weekend, October the 18th,
Hmm.
at the Robertson County Courthouse from 11 to 1 p.m.
Yeah, the square downtown.
in the square downtown.
Yes.
This is a protest and not a rally. There's not going to be a lot of speeches. This is just going to make ourselves seen and heard
Mhm,
that we don't agree with the way that our government is currently going,
mhm.
and we oppose that
Yes,
and would like to help that.
yes.
And then again, our Robertson County Democratic Party meetings are
Yeah,
every third Tuesday of the month,
6 o'clock,
6 o'clock.
Senior Center in Springfield.
Senior Center on Locust Street in Springfield.
Yeah,
So,
we try to have guest speakers as often as we can. We try to
yep.
intersperse those into our regular meeting.
So our regular meetings for the Robertson County Democratic Party are every third Tuesday. So our next one coming up is October the 21st. That's Tuesday night next week
Mhm,
at 6 p.m. at the Senior Citizen Center on Locust Street in Springfield. So we invite you to come join us,
mhm.
see what we're all about, and we hope to see you there.
Yeah, this is a particularly good one if you're a newbie to come to because it's going to be a potluck. Following the business meeting portion, we will have a potluck dinner so you can kind of meet people and get to know fellow Democrats.
Great. Well, Tony, thank you so much for joining us this
Thank you,
evening.
Mike. I
It's
appreciate
been
you having
fun.
me.
We'll have you back again sometime.
Thank you, sir.
Good night.
Good night.